Welcome to Wave 1. In this wave, we've included new features for Power PPM, Time for Teams, Team Planner and Power Hub. These features have been created to support an optimized overview for better execution of your work. Welcome to this demonstration of the new resource heatmap for the Power Gantt. The resource heatmap can be activated by toggling the Resource Heatmap button in the top ribbon of the Gantt chart. The heatmap will then appear at the bottom of the screen. On the left side, names of the allocated resources will be shown. On the right, we see the designated workload in hours, corresponding to the tasks shown above. The overview of the hours is equal to how the project plan is viewed in terms of the timeline. For planning, switching to week might be preferred. In this demo, I have already added a couple of resources. The hours added for each resource are spread out evenly across the timeline of the tasks it's related to. To start the allocation, assign people to tasks using the Assignments column. When assigning people, you can also set the expected workload for a task. In this example, 40 hours are set for both employees. I can add Alexander. Then we can see Alexander's workload changes in the week where this task timeline spans. If the workload exceeds 40 hours per week, or 8 hours per day, the color of the heatmap will change from green to red. Let's see it in action. Here, we have a small task, and we will over-allocate Alexander. Let's look at the specific task on the timeline. We can see that the 20 hours have been spread evenly across the 2-day task, resulting in 10 hours per day. This is more than our 8-hour daily limit, so the color changes to red. This way, the resource heatmap gives a quick overview of where the work time limit has been exceeded. The resource heatmap is optimized for proactive project management and gives you, as the project manager, the opportunity to mitigate and redistribute your resources in time. Welcome to this video where I will show you how to do integrations between Time for Teams and Project for the Web. First, let's create a project in Project for the Web with a project name and estimated dates. Let's save it and then go to Tasks. Here, you can create a few tasks. This could be configuration, workshops, and support. You can also assign different people. Here, you can assign one person, or you can assign multiple people to a task. You can choose to add to group or just assign. You can add the duration here. Let's put in 10 days for configuration, 2 days for workshops, and 30 days for support. You can add more columns by choosing Add Column, and from the drop-down menu choose Relevant Trackers. Here, we've got effort completed and effort remaining, which shows us how many hours we'd like to move to Time for Teams. Let's open Time for Teams, and after hitting refresh, the new project appears for the assigned people, ready for time registration. The planned hours are visible here, and it's possible to set the type of work before entering the number of hours you've worked. And there you have it, the simple and time-saving integration between Project for the Web and Time for Teams. Welcome to the new Resource Planner view. This view gives a heatmap overview of resources for the line manager. The line manager can look at multiple resources at the same time and see the available capacity for each one. In the Resource Planner view, select the timeline. Within this view, you can see all the resources that are assigned to you as a line manager. I can see their capacity in hours or FTE, that is, full-time equivalent, during the selected time span. The heat map coloring depends on the free capacity. You can see Dennis has 0 FTE free capacity, which is marked as green. On the other hand, Christopher has -1 free capacity, which means that he is over-allocated. Peter has a free capacity of 1, which means that he is not allocated to anything. Going through the view, you can see the allocation status of people. Green means the people are fully allocated. Orange means that they are not allocated. Red means that they are over-allocated, and yellow means that they are partially allocated. Resource Planner allows you to expand and see the reason why people are over-allocated and which projects they are assigned to. So, Christopher is allocated 1 FTE on 2 different projects, Low Orbit Ion Cannon and New Project Wave 4. I can expand and see how many contracts he's allocated to for each of the projects. In this case, he's only allocated to 1 contract per project. Resource Planner allows you to drag and drop a contract to another person. In this case, Christopher is over-allocated with 1 FTE due to 1 specific contract. If you want to move this contract to another person, you can simply grab it and move it. An animation indicates where you can drop it. You can drop the contract to Peter. This means that Christopher is no longer over-allocated and Peter now has an allocation. The view updates to show the new allocation status. Everything is green. These people have not been allocated at all. So, you can use the drag cell feature. If you open Monica, she is allocated 1 FTE on the New Projects Wave 4. If you expand Jacob, he's only allocated half an FTE. You can copy Monica's allocation easily by dragging it to others. It autofills upon release. You can also create filters. Filters are great if you have a lot of resources. You can create filters based on a role to limit your view, such as the role of developer. Clicking Apply, you'll receive a filtered view that only shows your developers. The global view, My Resources, has now been marked with an asterisk to show that it's been modified. You can save a specific view by selecting the drop-down menu and saving it as a new view by giving it a name. The new view is now visible in the list and can also be set as the default view. Most of the developers are not allocated to anything. To allocate them to a project, go to the Allocation tab to find projects where they can be allocated. For example, you can find Nicholas and Christian and add them to the grid. I can add allocations for them both and copy the allocation across days. Going back to Resource Planner, their allocation has now been updated. There is also the Request column. The Request column indicates what is unresponded on the contract. That is, it shows the difference between amount of hours requested and the amount of hours allocated. In this case, there has been allocated 1.2 FTEs more than requested. If you go to the Allocation tab, you can see that the total request is 8.75 FTEs, but the allocation is 9.95 FTEs. So there's been an overallocation of 1.2 FTEs. In the Request tab, you can use the Match Request feature. This will match request and allocation. Going back to the Resource Planner view and expanding, you will see the unresponded request is now 0. Welcome to the presentation of the Contract Overview feature in Team Planner. It joins our two pre-existing views, Resource Overview and Project Overview. The new Contract Overview is designed for project managers, line managers, and super users. The view shows all the contracts that you're allowed to see based on your permissions, and you can open them to get more information. You can see what project the contract is related to, and see the request and allocation amount. Furthermore, you can see the previously defined custom properties. You can also configure the contract overview to show exactly the columns that make sense for you. In this case, we are seeing the name of the contract, the start and end date, who created the contract, and then we have our custom properties, which are created based on your needs. In this case, we have seniority and the task requirements as custom properties. This allows the user to specify the requests further based on the processes you follow. It is possible to have other contract properties like country, internal, external, or even priority. What is important to know is that the contract overview also takes your permission level into account. So for example, if you're a project manager, you can only see these 3 contracts because that is what you have requested across the projects that you are running. Or, as a line manager, you can only see these 9 contracts, which are the contracts where a request is coming to you as the line manager. This could be, again, cross-products. You can also sort in columns. This can help you get a better understanding of the request created or coming in. This gives the possibility to structure and get a clean view of relevant data. This is a very beneficial feature and will create a better overview for the end users. Welcome to this demonstration of the new configuration feature in PowerHub. To access the configuration, log into the Power portal. Under System, there is now a new configuration page. Click on this to access it. The configuration page has the navigation menu to the left. Beneath PowerHub, you'll see the general settings for PowerHub. For example, in the database section you have the SQL command timeout and the connection timeout to the database. Under Sources, you can configure different source-specific configurations like retention period in months for historical tables, if it should use TDS endpoints, etc. It's pretty easy. You can change the settings here by entering the new timespan, and you'll receive a notification that the setting is being changed. Confirm the change in settings and you'll get an overview of which value is being changed and of what the change is. In this case, it's from 24 to 12. Confirm the change and it will be saved. For each of the configuration settings, it is also possible to revert to the default value. If you hover, it shows a preview of the default value. In this case, it is -1, indicating that the retention period is unlimited. Clicking updates the field, and you can save the changes and confirm. It's also possible to reset the entire configuration to default values by selecting Reset All to Default. The new configuration feature is initially designed for customized, complex solutions and will be extended to standard solutions in future releases.